Hi. I so often forget to put on my non-glare glasses until I've hit record. Hey, I love you. And it's with joy that I share with you this day about you. For I feel like I know you, in a way. Something about you, some things about you. You may have an underlying character. A, a set of characters. A consciousness that is complete over a spectrum of energies. But you're only recognizing one person, one player, one individual. You're thinking you're a one single individual actor on the stage of life, and you're acting wholly upon your own instinct, wants, desires, and programming. But what if there's another story, another reality, another creator than one we have maybe always heard about or called a certain name or even felt a certain way about? What if there's more to creation than the creator story that we've been given, creating us as observers, spectators, sidelined to do his will, what he wants? What's all this business about he? Why would it be a he? Or what if he isn't it? Or what if it isn't the right story? But what if the story, what if all of the stories of all the players and all their parts all around us have been fabricated a certain way? And everybody's playing their part to the best of their ability to be accepted, to be wanted, to be successful in their own eyes, somebody's eyes. Whose eyes are upon us? Or are you willing to see only with another's eyes through their words, that you're looking at your life according to their words, their dictates, their manifestations, comparing your life to theirs, comparing your words to their words, and what you have and don't have and look like and don't look like according to other people and all these magazines, social media that robs you so effectively from your grace, your power, your originality, your breath. your love. Why do we, why do millions of people so willingly give their breath to another? Their breath, their life, their time, their breath, their consciousness. Doom scrolling. You have a life to live, my friend. You have life. But see, your life is not the life limited to an observer anymore. Because the programmers who want to program your life to be an observer live in affliction, conflict, and turmoil, be on their payroll, work in their cubicle the hours they tell you, do what they want, do what the preachers want, what the Bible says, whatever your Bible is. See, living all of your life according to all of these scripts and all of these other actors' parts in this play drive us crazy, drive us mad. Trying to comply. Trying to please God. Please. Because remember, it's a fearful thing to fall into. Hogwash. There's more to the story. But see, if you let yourself be beguiled, if you let yourself be convinced of the accuracy, validity, authenticity of some story, you find yourself living according to that story. You think they're right. You call it truth. Oh, they have the truth. This denomination, this religion, this person, that person. And we flit about looking for something to help us feel better about ourselves, that we can relate to, a group we can be accepted by, a place we can feel home, because we're not there. Are we strangers in a strange land? Gosh, that could be a title of something. Maybe is. You have a book in you. Are you, could you be pregnant with a book? A book. An idea. Don't you often have ideas? Who listens? Who cares? Who gives a damn? I do. My name is Theodore Cottingham. Shaken, not stirred. I'm an old guy in Eureka Springs. And I know you. Or at least I think I know something about you for you to even simply be watching, listening, taking moments of your life to listen to these words, because at an underlying level, underneath all of the all of the visible empirical, there's more. There's more to the story. And it's not just for him, her. It's not just for your husband, your wife, your children. There's more for you. Many of us experience a range of feelings, experiences. But we've been taught to be observers. We've been taught servant leadership. We've been taught to live our lives for an entity, an invisible entity that rarely even speaks to us. The only way we know it is some kind of leather-bound book. Oh, and there are times, yes, there are times we have experiences. And experience times of joy, times of euphoria. But alas, for the most part, we exist as a people in lack. And we're always trying to do better. We're trying to study to show ourselves approved unto God, a workman, a workman, a workman. I think I know you because you care. You have capacity, not just of compassion for someone else, the kingdom, what a religious word, baby. So many of us don't find that parlance, that jargon in everyday talk. The kingdom of God, kingdom of heaven is within you. It is not separate from you. When you find out who you are, when you're ready, when you're willing, when you're ready, willing, and able to begin to wake up, you begin to face some things. You begin to face authority and dismantle it. Because you begin to see a different way, from a different perspective, with different light, with different words, from a different place. You begin to see from a different place, with a different comprehension, with a new consciousness. You begin to see visibly that invisible, intangible authority that they exert over you and chain you to them with and whip you with and cause you to do certain things. really has no power over you. But if you think it has power over you, then it does. What do you think? I think this has merit. I think you're powerful. I think I'm an old man. I think you're powerful. I think you're much more powerful than you think you are. Or most likely. Most people, common people. I'm a commoner. Bought my shirt at Walmart years ago. Why do I charge for my school? I gave everything away for 20 years, begged people to listen, begged people to come to my classes, my seminars. Sometimes had one or two, sometimes none. Sometimes I had some conferences that people and actually paid their way. A few did. The few did that allowed me to pay all the expenses for everybody else that didn't pay. I'm not complaining. I'm not nonprofit. Being nonprofit, you submit to certain rules. I don't want to submit to those rules. I began my quest, I wanted to know God. But love intervened. So God love, became not just all about loving God. Love taught me I could love love. I didn't need to appease a God. In fact, the God script, the God story, the God manuscript, the God play, the God world, the world of gods. I'm not subject to, and neither are you. But if you think you are, then you bow down to that very thought process. You kneel in that thought process, and you give up your power, and you become an observer. You become a servant. You become a slave of your religion, a slave of your mind, a slave of your mind. Your mind. How do we become a slave of our mind? Because all these other people we interface with all the time, the preachers, the pastors, the teachers, the social media, put their words in our mind for us to be a repository of their thoughts, us creating their reality, us creating, matching that reality. And we find truth in a false story. My friend, you're the creator. When you're willing to see, when you're willing to know, when you're willing to bow down to no one else, no script, no Bible, no apparition, no Holy Ghost, no God story, and learn who you really are and begin addressing love for love's sake. And let love teach you directly. Love will. Love itself, not a he. Patriarchy is abolished. Patriarchy is abolished, annihilated, dethroned by my teaching. My teaching? Meonics. Meonics, my teaching? The consciousness of one, the consciousness of the collective healers healing each other, to no more be writing each other's script, but enabling the empowerers to come forth, sharing like this. Sharing the books within you. Begin to write. Begin to write a new story. Begin to write on your forehead so that you are no more controlled by your neocortex, by your subconscious, by your parents, by your DNA, by your religion, your friends. Friends? A lot of people masquerade as friends. But if you could see the underlying motive of what they think with how they think, I want to conquer you. I want you to think like I think. I want this, that, soul, elevation, self-elevation of the soul, elevation of the ego, the mind of the ego of the mind. One and the same? I ask a lot of questions and I answer a lot of questions with a lot of questions for you to decide and determine. Because you determine when you take the training wheels off of your bicycle. You decide when you're willing to pick up that pen and begin to channel. You decide when you're going to lay down your fear of riding that bicycle on two wheels, knowing you might fall down, you might fall off, you might skin your knee, and it might hurt like hell, and you may cry. You'll have a scab, and it'll look terrible for a while. But you do it anyway, because what you want is the freedom. The freedom to ride that bicycle like you know you can. We're no longer interested in the tricycle, the big wheel. We're no longer interested in wearing a diaper, playing in the sandbox. We choose to grow up. And all of the God story, no matter what you call it, no matter what you wrap it in, no matter what kind of bow you tie it up in, and talk about the soon-coming King, the Redeemer, this, that, or the other, the new heaven, the new earth, and all he's done for you. And really, every good thing comes from him. Well, I guess it's a good story. Preaches well, it's sold well, sells a lot of Bibles, sells a lot of something. It sells a lot of slavery, impoverishment, penury, paupery. Many of us work for a living. Many of us work like a dog. I know you. You have more. And it's not just that you have more to give. My message, my life, my heart, my love says you are more. And all the time we have spent wanting the acceptance of friends, wanting to fill the void in our existence with social media, television, drugs, religion. All of that is because we haven't known who we are. We haven't known that we are the creators. We've been told, we've been sold a lie, no matter how valid it is. Valid? Lie? Both? Well, maybe when you first begin to learn that bicycle, learn to ride a bicycle, you may need and want, enjoy, appreciate the value of those training wheels. But then, if someone comes along and everybody you see, every person you pass while you're riding your bicycle says, now don't you ever, ever take those training wheels off because you can't live. You take those training wheels off, you'll go to hell. God wants you to keep those training wheels on. Then so many people speak for God. Some intangible, invisible, knowable, force somewhere. All fear-based. All fear-based. But at some point, you have the courage, the guts to take those training wheels off your bicycle. You no longer want a go-kart. You're looking at a red GTO. That was me. And my first car was a red 64 GTO, first year they came out. We're ready for more. Aren't you ready for more? I think you're ready for more because you're listening. Whoever you are, wherever you are, no matter what you've done, no matter what you've been immersed in, whether you're in prison, even if you're on death row, if you look like hell, feel like hell, maybe you're in ICU, maybe you're in hospice, maybe you don't have enough to eat, but somehow you hear these words. I'm including you. You see, there is a new identity. And I have a new identity for you. And I give it to you. Not, I talk about it, I describe it. I will it for you, but if and only if you grow it. It's not rocket science. The kingdom of heaven, synonym for the promised land. The promised land is not in the Mideast. Only fools think that. Only the ignorant, wanting to think the visible empirical is real. The promised land is inside you. The promised land. The promised land of peace, prosperity. The promised land where Babel never occurred. The Tower of Babel. You see, in the promised land, boy, okay, sounds religious, I guess it is. But the promised land, heaven, is not far away. You don't look to the right and the left to discover it. But my friend, you don't wait until you die to go to heaven. That's the ancients' words, because they thought it's inevitable. How do you escape death? Nobody can escape death. How did Jesus do it? Oh, well, you could say, well, he died on the cross. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he ascended from the cross, and people didn't know what to do with the story. So they say he rose. But see, folks, those stories were ancient, way before the Bibles were ever written, thousands of years ago. Christianity became a belief system that just merged a whole bunch of things and updated it. So in one sense, maybe I'm updating. Maybe it's time. You remember Neo in the Matrix? Upgrade. It's time for a new operating system. It's time for a new understanding of the play, the manuscript, the movie, the game of life. It's time to reinterpret, re-envision the whole idea, the mystery of God, the unknowable God, the ineffable. All the mystique of the mystery. All the spiritual, all the invisible and tangible is yours to walk in if you will walk through it. But as long as you're afraid of it, you'll sit on the sidelines and be an observer. A pauper. Working for a living. Hoping to have enough money to cover your bases till the next paycheck. In the promised land, you neither toil nor spin. Remember that phrase? In the promised land, you don't have to learn different languages. It's all one language. Light. See, it's a different energy. It's a different existence. And that energy of that existence is within you this day, even now as we communicate. Or will you communicate with me? Me, the man? Me, the consciousness? Me, the love? Me, the lover? If you focus on my flesh, you miss the message. I'm speaking about you. and what you will do with your consciousness, the consciousness of your opinion, consciousness of your vow, the consciousness of what you will create in you, with you, through your own words, the living word, a new identity. You can dismantle the authority of heaven. And become who you really are. If you will learn a learning system that allows you to communicate with love directly, not vicariously, all of the idea of vicarious atonement goes bye-bye. All the idea, redemption, a mass rapture, the Redeemer would return in 3 days. What's all that about? I suggest your capacity, you have the capacity. You, my friend, woman, man, boy, girl, no matter what color your skin is, no matter what habits you engage in, no matter what your gender preference is or not, no matter what you identify as, I'm telling you, you're precious and you're perfect, but not in the flesh, with the ways of the flesh limited to the flesh, programmed and scripted by the words of man, religion, dogma, ego, control, philosophy. You are the visible, the story that Jesus gave us. He showed us there. So there's a story. And honestly, whether there was a real man named Jesus or not is not the issue. It's no longer central. In one sense, it doesn't matter. I have the story. But the story became real to me. Why do I not care about the authenticity if Jesus ever lived and did all the things? The power is in the story. The power is in the story. The power is in me. To see the story and who it applies to and what it applies and how it applies and what it frees and how it applies to you. My friend, your capacity, your potential. No matter what you languish in this moment, no matter squalor you may live in, or the affluence, the wealth, no matter what you exist in as, you are not limited to the visible, empirical properties of this magnetic world. You're limited energy of your chakras. You're not limited to steps that everybody wants you to speak during your life. All the script say him. This is what you do, and this is how you do it. And there's 17 surveillance monitors to be watching you all the time to make sure you do it right. And if you don't do it right, you are out of here. Because it's only about production. Everything's a transaction. Everyone seems like the world system. They've imbibed to neuter its creators. Why would you castrate your own creator? Why would you emasculate you? Why do you take the seeds and grow other people's in your garden when you're the creator? Let us be fooled no more. Let us wake up. Let us grow up, no matter what you call waking up, growing up. The new birth, born again. A new identity, consciousness. A new identity begins to fuel a new consciousness, or does a new consciousness begin to fuel a new identity? And what are you creating in the idea and the concept of creation? You're growing the tree of life. You're growing something new. You're becoming something that dethrones the idea of other people to dismantle yours. And when you're ready to grow up, you begin to dismantle other people's authority over your life. And you begin to live yours. And there are times you will fall down and scrape your knee. But you do it anyway. Because you know there's more. You listen to things outside of your comfort zone. Like a radical old man in Eureka Springs. You read things like you've never read before. Jesus is the pattern. I wrote this over. It's in several different sections. I wrote it over 11 years. And I gave it away until this year. And then earlier this year, several times. I made the ebook available on my website, and it's available now. And I charge different prices for it. A few dozen people have bought it. It's not an easy read. But it's not easy to take those training wheels off. It's not easy to till the fallow ground. Because you're planting seeds, if you will, of another world, another existence, another identity. And you see the reason I have this picture, the energy. We're not trying to save the soul. And please quit trying to redeem the soul, the seat of the emotions, your chakras, that which controls you so willingly, the seat of your ego. Yes, I call them all one. And in the mind, between your ears, is the holy place. The holy place, the divine. But I no longer need that syntax. I no longer depend on the nomenclature of religion. In fact, I don't want it. I don't want to be nonprofit. I'm not religious. I'm not religious. To a lot of religious people, I'm a pagan, a heathen, a heretic. And that's okay. I love you anyway. Because I know one day you're not going to stand before the judgment of God You're standing before the judgment of God every time you look in your mirror, and you're judging you. Bradley Cooper is in a movie called The Words. Very fascinating to me. Don't get hung up on like the last 15 seconds. I don't understand the last 15, 20 seconds of the movie. But the ending of the movie, the last few scenes are terrific. It's called The Words. So it's about a book, the author of a book that you're writing. The reader is writing the ending. How the book ends depends on the reader. This is you. Pardon me, I'm sorry. How this ends? My friends, this does not end. You are immortal. You always were, and you always will be. You think that Bible verse, I am the Alpha Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last, applies to him, it? No. That describes you. The consciousness. The identity of the Creator. Let, my friend, religion no more rob you from who you are. Religion makes you weak? No. Religion makes you ignorant? Religion says death is inevitable. I say unto you, who am I? I'm the authority of an old guy in Eureka Springs, so what do you care? Unless it matches something in your DNA. The DNA of your spirit? No. The DNA of the intangible, immortal, infinite you. Where you say, I'm going to find out. I'm going to find out. I'm going to take my training wheels off. I'm going to begin to channel. You make a decision not to have faith, but in essence, you make but that which you feel to become something because you want to drive that GTO and enjoy the mobility, the freedom, the power, the acceleration, rather than a go-kart. We're leaving Earth. Oh man, that's done it now, hasn't it? That sounds pretty radical. We're leaving Earth. Well, if you can walk on water, if you can do John 14:12, do all the things that Jesus did, remember? That was his desire. John 17, that we may all be one. See the idea, I and my Father are one. It's simply the understanding. I and my Father are one. They're not two separate in one. They are the same one. The Creator creates creation as the Creator to create creation. This is our privilege, our heritage, our lineage, and our blood is our word. How can that be? Energy. Wish I had a better word. Maybe one day I will. But the energy of love, perfect love, empowers freedom. Perfect love enthrones enjoyment of freedom of those around. My joy is for you to be free. I cannot free you. I don't have the chain cutters, the welding torch. There's no chain cutter welding torch strong enough to release you from the chains of your religion. There's none on earth strong enough. Because you are the consciousness of what you choose to be. You can become conscious of you, the Creator, if you're willing. It's not heresy. It's the delight, not of the Lord, not of religion, but the delight of freedom is for you to be free. The delight of love is for you to be love in your shoes. No longer limited to flesh. No longer afraid of fear. No longer afraid that you'll scrape your knee. No longer afraid to die. You don't have to die. Jesus said, if you believe in me, you will never die. Don't hear that taught about often. And if you do, so many of these verses that I often reference, religion will emasculate because they'll make their comments to reduce you to an acceptor of their theory. Religion reduces you to rubble. But you, my friend, have a new life before you. If you will create it as the Creator. If you're willing to no longer just be spouting out the words of the script writers, those who want to program your life, control your authority to to remain unto theirs. Folks, there is no level, there are not multiple levels of hierarchy. In heaven, in the kingdom of God, kingdom of heaven, bliss, peaceful. The promised land, home. We used to roam the cosmos. We weren't just limited to a field on the side of a hill. We could create solar systems, Milky Ways, and even if we wanted to, enjoy a Snicker. This is the Matrix. This is not reality. This is the island that Jim Carrey grew up on in the movie The Truman Show. Don't you understand? Movie after movie after movie after book after book after book talks about being a stranger in a strange land. But what if we're creators in something we created? We fell off the wagon. We got off track. Somebody unplugged us while we were doing an update, and our data got corrupted. A bunch of junk DNA got wiped out. I suggest to you the message of Jesus. Is maybe the closest in John 14:12, where Jesus said, if you believe in me, you will do the things I do and greater. How do you do the things Jesus did? You become that mind. You grow that consciousness. The door, the ability, the maturity, the love to do those things and more are within you. And this, my friend, is what connects us. Connects me with you. Now, if you're around me very long, you'll grow. Or you won't tolerate my love. My love grows. My love enables. My love empowers. I met her. She's a woman. But there are feminine characteristics, if you will. Not of just the divine feminine being the divine something else, somewhere else. When you realize who you are, when you're really ready to grow out of your identity as an observer, spectator, servant, and lead, you'll begin developing your leadership. You will begin enthroning your authority to be who you really are. Whether you call it wake up, become born again, birth again, no matter what nomenclature you use, you begin to see there's more to the story, and that you are the author of you. You're the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. You are the author, creator. You are the script writer. You are the director, the producer, the protagonist, the antagonist. You are the supporting cast, all within your consciousness. This is the beginning of wisdom. You see, you are central. Pardon me. Pardon me. You are central to the story. You are no longer reduced to being a bystander, to just vicariously accept what someone else has done for you. And now you know. I have given you Meonics. I have given you me. Me on. M-E-O-N. I am no longer me off searching for somebody else's words. I'm no longer me worshiping God. I'm no longer me trying to be somebody else. I'm no longer me trying to study to show myself approved, a workman. No. I'm me who wants to be me. In fact, I am all who want to be me. With your face, with your grace, with your love, with your words, with your power, with your dominion. Over you, because your kingdom, you see, is yours within you, your promised land. In your promised land, don't walk under the authority of another. You emerge not as victorious in war. There's no war in heaven. It's all in your mind. The consciousness of the Creator, the consciousness of the creation. No longer being fooled by the majesty of a crown, of an appealing story that reduces us to the viewing audience of our lives. Yes, my friend, I suggest is a picture of you. Now, the exact colors and form may appeal to you or not. Born again? Certainly not a Christian. There's more to the story. And every day, as you begin to listen and learn, you begin to be less infiltrated, less immersed in molecularity, the visible empirical begins to lose hold on you as you begin to walk in the infinite intelligence, the infinite connections, of creation, where you are the creator. And this is Meonics. The cosmic egg is all about you. In your own school. Your own school that begins to open the door where you begin to see creation land and you begin to create your promised land within you. Because, you see, you're willing to connect your mind to an energy whose only desire is for you to be it, all one. One language, one power, one authority, one ability, pure joy unleashed, and no longer limited to this earth, no longer limited to your flesh body, nor your temperament, nor any chakras, nor the concept, idea, or operation of a soul. Become the invisible you. Yeah. Seamless. You're invisible maybe in this 3D world, but you're visible in the interdimensional. And the power of love becomes seamless in the interdimensional with that which is still confined in dimensions. And this is how we do the things that Jesus did and more. Not to bring attention to ourselves, not to create followers, but to show everyone else this is who we are. We existed before time began, folks. And that's why this is the school of cosmic leadership. You can't just hang around and siphon off my energy or anyone else's anymore. You create. You begin to see, feel, and experience not the love of flesh being flesh anymore, remaining in flesh. Moving to a higher realm now, a greater frequency, more vibration. That's not the way I see it. Not vibrating at all. No longer toil nor spin. My molecules will no more be magnetically driven. Shamed or refused by me. I know the power of the molecule no more overpowers me. Or you. And we can walk and become people of light who rejoice now throughout time, space, without the limitation of gravity, strings, dimensions, organelles, quarks, or whatever you want to call them, because we become the real me. Meon. This is about Meonics, meology, to restore the kingdom, the promised land. Home. A path home. The prodigal returned. The marriage supper of the Lamb. The feast. The prodigal returns. The play ends. And there's nobody there to clap. Because when the play ends, and we're the writer, when we see the truth and it become love-based truth, and that the writer, the author, the creator was us. There won't be any bystanders, observers left. We'll all go, be, exist in what we created while here. And it's all about to change. And little old ladies now, maybe look frail, humpback, decrepit, worthless in the sight of so many people, will do miracles now. They'll come out of their rocking chair. You'll begin to cast aside your walkers. You won't be dependent. You won't be codependent. You won't need any depends. You won't be incontinent. You'll begin to know who you are and the power of love. And you'll rejoice in it. And you will empower love to love love instead of power. You'll no longer give your life to a good cause. It keeps you here. You'll see you first. There's a time to focus on you. There's a time to lay all the good things aside and focus on the very best, Mary. The angel has spoken. The angel speaks to all of you. The angel is inside of us. The promised land is too. Home. This is how we go and get there. We grow it. We become it. We experience the new birth, the regeneration, because we are the neogenesis, the neo-revolution. Become who you really are, my love. And love each other, you first. I go now. Thank you. TheodoreCottingham.com. Subscribe, if you will, to my email list. Be a member of the school if you want to. You choose. Be the fabulous you. Become the intangible you. That's no longer afraid of entering new worlds. Dealing with people from afar, no longer afraid. Heal them, love them, and no longer use your authority to program someone else to be fearful, afraid of who they are. Restore the identity of one to the angels, who all are one. I love you. Theodore Eureka at gmail.com. And I have a contact page on my website. And you can ask questions. You can comment. And if you ask me a question, I may answer it. But I answer it not because it is my responsibility. I answer it in one of many ways. I may not answer it for a reason or no reason, but I may answer it with a direct email to you. But hear me well. I may answer it in the next day or over several days in these teachings. Why? That's how I seem to operate. Sometimes someone asks me a question, and I don't know the answer. Many times I don't know the answer. I don't know how to answer. It's complicated, or I don't know. 3 or 4 days go by, and all of a sudden, revelation. I have the answer. I have the connection. I've connected with something that applies to that question. All of a sudden, there's a consciousness of what may be an answer of value to you, to the moment, the energy that prompted the question that you had. We continue to connect and we grow, and we fabricate the consciousness of a new world. New people, light, love, and peace. Be bred by one love. Let there be love. Love each other. There can be no jealousy in love, no grudge, and all the wounds and hurts that we've inflicted upon each other. Dethrone them, unmagnetize them. Shining with the grace of the real you. Thank you so much. Love each other. Love, love. I love you. Good day.